Hello, good evening, dear friends. Welcome to Blue Cliff. Um, Welcome for the retreat for future to be possible. If we want to have a good future, now we should be really enjoyable at the present moment. Is right. Um, so my name is Brother Dharma Joyce, or you can call me Brother DC, like Washington DC, but I'm Brother DC. So I came here 3 years ago. Um, Before that, I was in Deep Park, California, and back to Plum Village, and back to Vietnam. So I really enjoy monastic life very much. So we can do something, bring the practice to help myself, have my family, and have friends and people around me more happy. So that's what I want to do with my life. Um, I'm happy to be in Blue Cliff. So there are 4 seasons. Really wonderful. In the winter, a little bit cold, but it's okay. When I came here first time, I had problem with my lungs, difficult to breathe. Like I got cold like for 3 months of coughing and so cold. But now I used to it a little bit. So I really like Blue Cliff. Now the summer is beautiful, green all around. And before I came here, I see, oh, beautiful, there are lotus flowers and the sunset is beautiful, reflecting outside. So I really enjoy it very much. And this is a US tour, so now we call mini tour because some like Deer Park, some could not open something for we can come to there, but some brothers and sisters from Deer Park also they come here to support the retreat. So every 2 years we have a mini tour. So we travel different places to give a teaching. And now we have some monks and nuns from Magnolia Grove and from Deer Park, and we are here at Blue Cliff. I'm living here. So I introduce myself. Now I would like to invite Sister Peace. So please introduce yourself to practitioner. Thank you.
Good evening, beloved teachers, beautiful, beloved community. My Dharma name as a monastic is Sister Anyam, but they call me Sister Peace. And I am really grateful to be here with you in Blue Cliff. During the last tour, it's 2 years ago, I missed the segment here because I was in Africa, in Botswana, in South Africa, helping to lead retreats. And I'm happy to say Dharma is strong in Africa. So sadly, I missed one of my other homes. I consider all the monasteries my home, really. But I haven't been here for 4 years. So I'm especially happy to be here with you this evening. After about a dozen years in Plum Village, I came back to America at the end of 2017 to be with my father as he transitioned to other realms. And then I stayed on to spend time with my family. And I had a chance to travel around a bit, and I've landed in Batesville, Mississippi, at Magnolia Grove Monastery, just 50 miles south of Memphis. I think most people know where Memphis is. So I'm real grateful to be here in America and to be able to share with you this evening. So our challenge this evening is to share with you some of the basic practices and not keep you long, because you will get your family assignments tonight, your working meditation, and we know that you've traveled all day. So we want to respect that, and we know that some of us are here for the first time. How many do we have here for the first time? Great, quite a few. So you maybe wonder, why is everybody walking so slow? How come we have to wait till everybody sits down to eat? And so we're going to answer some of those questions for you this evening. And we also know and trust we have wonderful senior Dharma teachers here, and they will give you talks and presentations, and there will be ample opportunity in your Dharma sharing and maybe even in your working families. If you have questions, to bring them forward. But we want to be able to share with you enough so that it'll be comfortable for you while you begin to experience what it's like to live in a Plum Village practice center. And so with that, I'm going to turn it over to my brother, and he's going to start us off.
Again, I'm Brother DC. So I have seen many really old faces. It's been you have been here many times. You know the practice. So sometimes the sharing about basic practice also a chance reminded me to come back to my practices. The practice really, really important. Like the food nourish ourselves, and the practicing nourish our spiritual, the mind, and also the body. Nothing different from the food. So what is mindfulness? Mindfulness is some kind of energy help us really be there in the present moment and really take care of ourselves and take care of our beloved one. But the mindfulness should be mindfulness of something, not just mindfulness. Mindfulness of eating or walking or sitting or breathing. So mindfulness helps us to be here in the present moment and really get in touch with what is there. That kind of energy we need to practice to generate. The mindfulness we cannot get from somewhere else. Some people offer to you. But the mindfulness we need to generate by practice. When we have mindfulness, we can have very deep insight. We can see things clear, and we liberated the suffering, strong emotion, or handle different situation really hard and difficult in our life. Sometimes I have the anger in me strong, so I use the mindfulness to help me to calm it down. That's really helpful for me. So I just breathe, I follow my breathing. So whenever I am angry, I just let go of thinking, just come back to my breathing. So mindfulness of breathing at that time. So just follow my breathing. Just breathing in, I know I am breathing in. I'm breathing out, I know I am breathing out. So mindfulness of breathing help me calm the anger down. Also different kind of strong emotions, fear, irritation, worries, a lot of things comes in our life. Like 2 weeks ago, I heard the news that many people have been shot, more than 20 in Texas. So now the violence around in our environment, so how can we help that? So first we need to take care of ourselves. We take care of our strong emotions by use mindfulness of breathing. So mindfulness is very important in our life. If we don't use it, it's very pity. And we don't really good take care of ourselves and the environment and our children, our descendants for the future. Our future be possible because we use mindfulness to take care at the present moment. So we use the energy of mindfulness in our daily life, like kind of food nourish us, nourish our mind, make us stronger and be solid at any place and any time. You don't need to come here in order to practice mindfulness. You can practice at home, at your work, different places. You can practice mindfulness. So, listen to the sound of the bell, also practice mindfulness. Listen, this is wonderful sound, brings me back to my true home. The sound of the bell reminding us to come back to our true home, ourselves. So we take care of ourselves. We don't continue running so much. So the sound of the bell also the reminder help us to come back to our true selves. You can set the sound in your phone or you work on a computer. You also can download the app to set every 15 minutes, 20 minutes, the bell ringing, and then you stop of working or thinking or do any project. Just come back to yourself and just listen yourself and let yourself to be relaxed, to be healed, to be transformed, because we are not really stopping. We allow ourselves to run so much, thinking so much, worry so much, fear so much. So we don't really let ourselves to really relax and restore the peace, the joy. So we listen to the sound of the bell, help us to come back to our true selves and let the body and the mind really relax and restore itself. So now we can practice. Listen one sound of the bell and please come back to home. Just breathe in and out 3 times. We don't think of the past or the future. Before I came to the US, I went to Saigon City, visit one family before I fly to here. So that family is beautiful. They all like set up the clock. It's every 15 minutes it's chiming. So the whole family can stop and breathe. So beautiful. Since I was a monk, I only see one family set that, the clock in their home. So every 15 minutes, the clock chiming, so everybody in the family stop and just breathe. Grandma, father, mother, and 2 boys, they just stop and breathe. So beautiful. That's image still carry with me, so I feel, oh, so nice. They take care of themselves. After they came to the monastery to practice, and so they bring the practice home. So they apply the practice at home. So you may do the same thing if you like. You can set up the clock every 15 minutes or 20 minutes. It's chiming. Sounding, you can stop. So just come back to yourself, breathing in. I know I am still alive. That's already something wonderful. It's nourishing and let body and mind really relax. We need to take care of ourselves. Nobody can take care of yourself. Don't think about doctor. Take care of yourself. It's too late. Before I came here to this hall, after dinner, I sat with one friend. He was a practitioner here. And then he came home, travel, and work. And he had stroke and paralyzed one side. And he could not talk. He could not communicate to people. But after a while of healing by the doctor and also himself, he told, I thanks to practice because I only remember just breathe. And now he recovered, he can walk, now he can talk. So the practice brings him a miracle. So he appreciated the practice and the blue cliff, now he came back. And he shared with the monks and the nuns and the practitioner. So he told when he was in a coma, he was collapsed the body, and then he wake up. He just remembered, just breathe. He could not talk, he could not communicate to the people. And he just remembered, just breathe. And he breathed. Just follow his breathing. So the practice, mindfulness, really bring you a miracle. Now we don't think very important, but sometimes happening in our life, that's the something like a Buddha, a Jesus, or Allah, or some spiritual teacher helping you. They're practicing it like that. So he is very appreciate the practicing and the Sangha very much. So he trained himself by practice mindfulness, by mindful breathing. So generate the energy of mindfulness day by day, year by year, and that's a helper rescue us. And the mindfulness also help us really get in touch with the present moment. The sunset, the sunrise, the tree, green, and the beautiful environment here. Help us heal ourselves. Because we don't let the sorrow, the fear, the regret still put us down. But we recognize that a lot of beautiful things around us be there for us. We just need to stop our thinking, stop our worries, our minds caught in the past or the future, run into the future. We stop all that, we just follow our breathing, and then we can get in touch with the beautiful things, with beautiful energy around us. Lucky that today, this afternoon it stopped raining. At before 12 o'clock, still a lot of rain, wet. But lucky that when you came, you brought the good energy. Now stop all raining. Now you can camp, you can enjoy very much the big energy of practice. Is something change. So listening to the sound of the bell also practice help us generate the energy of mindfulness. And use mindful breathing help us very much in our life. Just remember breathing. We don't have to remember many things. Whenever you have strong emotion, also just follow your breathing. Let all things go. Let the past go, the future go. Just follow our breathing and taking care of the present moment. Also, sitting meditation we can use at home, whether you are working in the office, you sit on a chair. Also, aware of our whole body and relax during the time of sitting meditation. Like now you are sitting here, you bring your mind back to your body and aware of the body. Just simply recognize the body. Whether the shoulders, pain, or something stiff in our shoulders or our body, just recognize it. First of sitting meditation, just aware of our body. Sit on a cushion or on a chair, make sure that the body relax. So tomorrow we will have sitting meditation in the morning. So now we learn how to sit on a cushion or a chair. We keep our back straight and relax. Shoulders relax. Bring our mind back to our body and aware of our body. Recognize the mind. Any thoughts, right or wrong, coming or going, just let it go. Like observe the mind. and be there with your body. And then you can say, breathing in, I aware of my whole body. Breathing out, I relax my whole body. During the time of sitting meditation, first you just recognize your body and have body to relax and let body to heal. Sometimes we have painful in our body, but we don't recognize. We don't recognize until really painful, and then you call doctor and make appointment. It's better now we take care of body. So when you do sitting meditation, listen to your body. Listen. Breathing in, I recognize my body. Breathing out, I relax my body. I allow my body to rest, really rest. Stop all thinking and just get in touch with the body, whether shoulders or hands or arms or legs. Let all the muscles in the body to be really relaxed, and the blood in the body circulated, heal itself. And also follow your breathing. Breathing in, I know I am breathing. Breathing out, I know I am breathing out. Also aware of your breathing. Just do simply. Recognize the breathing and the body. So that's the mindfulness of sitting and mindfulness of breathing. Stop being very important. There's a story in the really old Buddhist temple. There are many pictures. It's beautiful. Share the story of the Buddha. One picture I remember. One man, he hold a sword. He chased the Buddha. He want to kill him. But the Buddha, he walked really very gentle and free. So he want to kill the Buddha because in his mind and other people told him that if you kill thousands of people, you will be born in the kingdom of something. So he believed that. He killed already 99 people. $990. So only one person he want to kill, that's a Buddha. So he follow him. He told, stop. He stop, Siddhartha, stop. But the Buddha is still walking. He doesn't have fear. So he continued to walk with gentle step and mindful step and really enjoyable step. And he told, stop, I call you. You didn't hear me? And the Buddha turned, I hear you. Dear friend, I hear you. You calling me, stop? And the Buddha said, I already stopped, but you didn't know. I stopped long time ago, but you didn't know. You are not stopping. That means the Buddha already stopped of doing bad things, stop worries, stop fear, stop thinking about the past so much, worries about the future so much. He letting go all that, he stopped. All kind of mind and wholesome mind. he really enjoyed the present moment. And the other guy, he runs so much, he wants to run to the future. In his mind, still running to the future. Want to reach something, to be happy, but he couldn't. So I remember when I was young, in the Buddhist temple, there is a picture. It's a painting, it's beautiful. The Buddha walked very gentle step and a guy with the sword chasing him. So I share with you that story. I hope everybody here stop running. The monkey mind, we should stop by mindful breathing. Otherwise we run all day and all night, all our life, and continue, our children continue running to the future. And we don't really live. Don't really enjoy life very much by mindfulness help us generate the energy of happiness and joy and brotherhood and sisterhood. So we are here, generate the energy of mindfulness and brotherhood and sisterhood. In this practice center, we all benefit from that. Maybe I don't have more time, so please continue to share with friends. Yeah. Thank you.
Dear respected teacher, dear friends, first off, just a huge favor. If someone in the front could, I forgot to bring a cushion, so my feet could do sitting meditation while I speak. So my dear brother mentioned a little bit about walking and the Buddha and the stories from the sutra. And while we're here, hopefully no one will be coming after us with a sword. But I hope that there are cool breezes to follow us as we practice what I like to call meditation in motion. And it's one of my favorite practices here in our tradition. Sitting is wonderful, and we all have different bodies, and some of us feel very comfortable for sitting at long or short periods, and some of us, like myself, really appreciate being able to move while practicing what Brother DC just shared with us. And that is the awareness of our breath, along with the awareness of our steps. And it's very simple and very natural. We'll have a chance to go as a river when we practice walking meditation every day. And we'll also have the opportunity to do walking meditation when we just go from one place to the other. So we're not just practicing when we're with the group, but we want to have an awareness. Now, you know, what's 100%? I don't know. I'm certainly not there. But if we can be observant around us, we will see a few people walking just a little bit slower. The cadence slows down. They're very aware of their body because they're experiencing their breath, and the mind, through the bridge of the breath, is connected to the physical body. And our physical body is connected to the earth. And aren't we lucky to be here in the foothills of mountains, to walk upon our most ancient ancestor. We call her Mother Earth. And the awareness, one step at a time. We're breathing in and we're breathing out through the soles of our feet. We're touching that preciousness, that energy. It's actually an exchange of energy. As we practice and create our mindfulness energy and we walk upon the earth, we kiss the earth, and we're able to impart that to the earth. And in return, she offers us energy back again. It's just a matter of awareness and appreciation and gratitude. I had the good fortune when not long after I came back to America, I spent some time in Memphis, Tennessee. And I was able to walk along the SIP, the Mississippi River. And oh, how I enjoyed it. And I would talk to my mother, my sister, the river, and I would inquire many things. But mostly I was arrested by the fact that when I looked at the river and I would see an occasional piece of driftwood float along, it wasn't going any faster than me. And so I became intrigued and I thought, oh, how can that be? This is a great mighty river that travels almost the length of this country. And how could that piece of wood be floating along slower than me? And so, of course, I looked it up and realized that the average surface speed of water on the Mississippi is half what we normally walk. Who would have thunk it? Now then I said, well, okay, if you can walk, Mother River, Father River, slow, well then so can I. And so I encourage you to invite a river, a stream, a brook that's maybe special to you, to walk with it. and to appreciate it for all its great and mighty power. And we know that the Mississippi is at the limit with all the flooding and the rains we've been experiencing these years. But yet and still, this great being could saunter along at half our normal walking speed. And I think that's fairly incredible. So as we're walking as a river, as a Sangha, we want to make sure that we appreciate the great power that is with us as a Sangha as we walk together. And we don't have to think about it, because guess what? Somebody leads us. We don't have to know where to go, straight, right, or left. We can just be calm and follow. No stress. One step and a few breaths. There's no right or wrong, there's just natural. And as we walk along, we will find what's that pace for us that still keeps us in the flow of the river called the Sangha. One more walking story. While in Memphis, I also had a chance to go to the Juvenile Detention Center, help bring mindfulness and the arts to the boys, the children from 12 to 17 who are in jail. And we shared with them something we called slow walking. We didn't talk about walking meditation, just, hey, slow walking. When things get tense, when there's a lot of anger or frustration, or as one young child said, he didn't know about anybody else, but when he was in his cell at night, he was on his knees praying and crying for his mama. And when we shared the practices with them, they had something they immediately could go back and use. And the violence in the facility went down over 50%. And I couldn't understand, how could that be? We didn't touch everyone, we just touched a few. But those young boys became Thai's continuation, Sister Chan Kung's continuation, the Buddha's continuation, just like us. And they taught the others. What a beautiful experience in sharing. And aren't we lucky that the circumstances in life didn't land us in a place like that? So we're walking for ourselves, we're walking for the planet, we're walking for those less lucky, we're walking for our beloved families, those who are still here, and those who maybe have transitioned on. And remembering to practice this walking just from here to your room, to your tent, from the dining room table to the wash-up area. Wherever we are, we can be aware. And when we're in the airport and they change the time or they change the gate, well, now we walk mindfully and quickly. So you can see this is an application not just in the monastery, but in our daily life. And speaking of meals, I want to share with you also about eating meditation. And first, I want to just give you the logistics, because they're a little bit different at every monastery. So at breakfast and dinner, you will serve your food in silence and proceed in silence, aware of our walking. And then we will find a place to sit. And then we can begin eating. And after 20 minutes, we'll hear 2 sounds of the bell, where if we choose, we can get more food. And at breakfast, we're asked to maintain noble silence until after wash-up. And at dinner, if you happen to be inside the dining hall, there's just a request to minimize the conversation. It's a very small place, but you're more than welcome to go outside and continue with more conversation if you like. And at lunch, we will wait for the 3 bells. So we'll serve ourselves again. We'll wait for 3 bells. And then you will hear a reading of the 5 contemplations, which is a beautiful gatha that puts us in touch with the food, with each other, where it came from, and gratitude, and the nourishment that food gives us, not just on the physical. And then again, after 20 minutes, we'll hear 2 sounds of the bell, where again we could get more food, and there may also be announcements. And again, if you're inside the dining hall, request to keep the conversation to a minimum. So if you really perhaps even like to practice a full meal of silence, the dining hall may be for you. And if you want to be outside and catch up with old and new friends, then the conversation can be had after those 2 sounds of the bell. So I also just want to share, it's about 250 of us, I think, when we add all the monastics, and there are a few serving lines, and sometimes I know when I first came to Plum Village, I would look at the table and I'd look at the line. Ooh, that's a long line. Another chance for practice. Remember, there's always enough. And mindful eating starts the moment you hear the bell, because we know what the next activity is, and we stop and we breathe. And then we proceed to the dining area with a walking meditation and the awareness that we're about to nourish our food, and the gratitude for being able to eat and nourish ourselves as a Sangha. And when we serve ourselves, we really want to try and be aware of the food that we are serving ourselves. If we stop and we breathe, we can be aware, well, maybe I don't need as much, because when we eat mindfully, we eat without conversation. And you'd be surprised that a little bit less food goes a longer way. And of course, there's the opportunity to return for more. So we use moderation. So also bearing in mind, and everyone will get a chance to have something. And on the off chance you were to run out, don't worry, the cooks are already fixing up something to bring out on the table. So we just take our time and serve ourselves and walk mindfully to our area and sit and wait, if we're at a meal where we wait, for instance, lunch, to begin to eat, contemplating where this food came from, all the way to where it's going to go. And appreciating the community around us, sharing this nourishment together. And there's one other thing that you've probably heard many times, and that's about chewing the food. And I know there's the recommendation to chew 30, 40, 50 times. But I'm going to dispense with that, and I'm going to invite you to chew just twice what you normally do. So notice how many times you chew. Is it 5 or 10 before you swallow? Maybe 10. So the next few bites, try 20. Maybe 25. And if you do it slowly and mindfully, oh, you will taste it. The texture will feel different in your mouth. There's no conversation, so we're not talking and eating at the same time and not tasting the food. So we will become filled, sated. Right? And I don't want to say quickly, but we'll become sated with less, actually, with that moderation that we had in mind. And then if we happen to finish our meal before the bells are invited, that's okay. We put our utensils down. Just like in between the meal, when we take a bite, we can put our spoon or fork down. We don't have the tendency to prepare the next bite before we finish chewing the one in our mouth. So we just rest. We allow ourselves to rest. And we wait for the next sound of the bell before we move forward with with washing up in conversation. So those are just a few things for us to keep in mind about that. And in terms of working meditation, again, it's an awareness of body, awareness of no stress. The challenge is not to finish or to get it absolutely right. The challenge is to be present with whatever it is we're doing. We may be in the garden or the greenhouse, or if our working meditation has to do with wash up around the meal, or the number of other things that we may be asked to do while we're here, let's just do it. Like my brother shared, it's not about the past or the future, it's about this present moment. And if we're still enough, we can be arrested again if we're in the garden and like, look at those beautiful orchids. And I'm lucky enough to be working with them. So no stress. And if it's the case that the work is too much, please don't be afraid to say to your work leader that you are still tired or you have an injury that prevents you from perhaps doing something. It's okay. Nobody's keeping a list. It's actually very smart and a wonderful aspect of working meditation to be able to be aware where your body is and what you can do. When the bell stops, when the bell rings, rather is invited, we stop what we're doing. If we have tools, we lay them down and we breathe. And we return to ourselves. And then we proceed to clean up, tidy up, put the tools away, and move on to the next activity. So no race, no competition, just being in the moment. I want to mention just a couple more things. One is something I call digital mindfulness. Now, where I'm living now in Magnolia Grove, in Batesville, Mississippi, way back near the woods, there's hardly any cell signal. So it's not nearly the challenge that it may be here or when we are at home. And let's be aware. Let's do our best to practice maybe turning it off. I realize maybe we're here and there may be family and children at home. But let's practice turning it off or putting it in a safe place for 3-4 hours, maybe more. I know that there will be the urge, check the text, check the email. What's the news? The news. How many people want a vacation from the news? Wonderful. So our devices can go. And of course, if you must carry for some emergency purposes, you'll be asked, of course, when you're in these halls, as you know tonight, to turn them off or turn them on, vibrate. But I challenge everyone to turn it off, because for an hour and a half, it's okay. It's really okay. And if we can get ourselves used again to being with them a little bit less, then what a gift that is, not only to us and, the quality of our life and our practice, but also to the quality of life that we share with the people right next to us, that we live with, that sometimes we forget are there because of the devices that can fit in our pocket or the devices that sit on tables in front of us. We don't need to have any fear about it here, because there's going to be ample opportunity to know what's going on. And it will help to reduce the stress. I don't know about you, but I try and keep up in the limited way that I can with what's happening. And wow, sometimes I just have to put it down. I'm not ready for that. I don't turn away from the suffering, but I do come back to myself. But I'm not constantly in it. So these are things that we can also be aware of. And people often say, well, they come to the practice center and they've been away from it, even if not 100%, even something less than that. Wow, what a gift we give to ourselves. Presence, being present for ourselves, and being present for those we love. Noble silence. So at the end of the evening tonight, you'll be invited to go into noble silence, which is to help us to calm down. It's not only not speaking here, but here. Let's be aware of the discourse. It's not to suppress or repress, but be aware. If we need to speak, of course we can, but we try and do it in hushed tones so that we can honor those around us who may be trying to settle down, calm down, maybe even go to sleep early. And if it has to be a lengthier conversation, then we can invite others to another space. And the noble silence we maintain until the next morning after we wash up our breakfast dishes. And the noble silence, like walking in all of our practices, can be practiced at any time. We can decide that, we'd really like to have some inner space, and one of those ways is to take a walk and to retain that energy of breath within. Help to increase our energy and our vitality. So I'm going to bring this to a close now so that you can have the information you need from our organizers and from our leaders who will help you do the work. And I'm going to see if my brother would like to say a few words.
Thank you very much. I wish everybody have a good evening. So now I would like to invite organizing team to come to the announcer. Announcer also come, please, to announce Next. Thank you for your listening. Thank you for your presence. So when you hear the small sound of the bell, and then come back to our breathing. And then now you can release your legs, so massage during the time of announcement.
So you're gonna